This is August 20th. It's in the afternoon. And this is, 6 months with Bitcoin. And we're going to determine the exact place to buy. And if you look close, you can see overall we are indeed buying the stairway to heaven. So what the hell does that have to do with determining the price? And I want to show you. Let's go to 2 weeks. And because I don't have a 10-day graph, we're going to cut the first couple days out. Let's just be 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. There's somewhere in the middle here. And let's just take it in 10-day chunks, and this is how I decide what's right for moi. I'm not saying this is right for you. I'm saying this has been working for me for quite some time. So we're going to look from this line over, and we're going to determine the ceiling and the floor. We're going to do the floor first, and that's the low point at $3,600 in the last 10 days. And a lot of people will say, well, this shouldn't really matter, but I go back a little further than most people do, and I'll explain that to you in a minute. So we've determined that 3,600 is the floor. And now we have to determine the ceiling, and at what point does Bitcoin get to and turn around and say, nope, I'm not going over that line. And you can see every time it gets to or a little bit over 4,400, it falls back down. So what is the price between the ceiling and the floor? And now we have our buy line, and that would be at exactly $4,000. When it goes below that green line I just made, that buy line at $4,000, that would be the time to buy on an upward trend. And you see these V's coming down and going back up, coming down, going back up. You don't want to buy in as soon as it crosses back over that line like it did right here. You want to come in on the blue side of the line as it's moving up. If you try to buy in at exactly the point of that V, you're just playing hit or miss. That line could have went all the way down to here before it started leveling out and going back up. If you buy in here, you're a little premature, and you're taking a big chance because no one knows how far down that line is going to go. So if you're buying in here, you're going to come out of the gate losing money before you ever start making money. You with me? So wait until the volume slows down, until people start saying, okay, well, we're getting a good price, so let's jump in. Floor, ceiling, halfway between. And when it gets below that line, is the time to buy as it's moving up. So lately, because Bitcoin has been staying between 4,400 and 4,000, we have not had any really good buying opportunities. But let's go a little closer and look at the one-day chart. This is 24 hours with Bitcoin. And the buy line is not even on here. It would be $4,000 is right there. And it just has not gotten below that line, so now is not the time to buy Bitcoin. Fair enough. It's moving on an upward trend. I mean, it's your money. You can take a chance in buying, if you just bought in and you bought in here, it might turn out to be a great buy. This might skyrocket to 4,500. But, I mean, why maximize your risk here? The whole object is to minimize your risk. So if it never gets below $4,000 again, that's fine, but we're just reevaluate it tomorrow and determine another line. So go back to the 6-month chart. Or, I mean, the 2-week chart. What am I doing here? And tomorrow is going to be somewhere around here. So the new 10-day line will be somewhere around there, right? So we can come in and determine that the floor is 38. The ceiling is still 44. And between those two numbers would be 4,100. And now if you look at that, we have a lot more buying opportunities. So tomorrow's evaluation is going to be totally different. Tomorrow's last 10 days is going to be a little different than today's last 10 days. And you can see if Bitcoin stays up above, say, 41 and 44, this is going to be a little bit different, and that buy line is going to come up a little bit. So assuming that that's what happens, now we had a whole lot more buying opportunities. And chances are tomorrow you're going to have some more. And again, I can't stress this enough. Let's go back to one day, and let's say today's buy line is 4,100. And just not too long ago, probably noon, 3 hours ago, if this was today's buy line, you had buying out there, you had one there, and you had one there. And what you want to do, let's say you have $1,000 just for the sake of an argument and make everything even on that first buy, and you just decided today's the day and I like the price and I'm buying in. Don't buy in with your whole $1,000 there. This is the pattern you want to see, and the reason why show you here in a minute. If you look at this V and you look at this V and you look at this V and determine the floor, they keep going up. There's another one. So that's a very healthy buy pattern. And again, if you're buying at 3 points, cut that $1,000 into 3 parts. If you buy in here at 300, you're in good shape. When we get to here, but now it's coming down and it just bottomed out, it's heading back up, so you're going to put in another $300. Right, yeah. And you put in 300 here, 300 here, and just throw in the rest of the $400 when it gets to there, because now it's going to take off like a rocket. You can see that upward pattern, right? And again, this is just a one-day chart, but we're going to keep on narrowing it down and trying to pinpoint the time to buy. The example I just gave you is a little unrealistic because that's assuming the price, the buy line was 4,100, and it's not. It's all the way down here at 4,000. Tomorrow it will change, and it will most likely come higher, depending on, you know, everything that happens. Today it's moving upward very fast. I'm going to go over it again for a real quick overview here. Go to a 2-week chart and look for the last 10 days. Disregard that. And I always want to bring this forward up a little higher, but the reality is we're actually cheating it a little bit, because, and this is part of the 10 days, and it was actually below the line we decided was the floor, which normally I will not do, but Bitcoin is it's moving so fast. As you can see, all this all these pinpoints were great opportunities. But again, we would have determined that way back before this 10 days, depending on everything going on here. This is probably the safest buying system you can use, and of course you can make it yours and change my system all around and decide what's working for you. That's 3 years with Bitcoin. This is 1 hour, pretty much minute by minute. So in that last part that we were just looking at right here, you can see that red candle forming. And that's a sell-off. They're selling off a little too early, if you ask me. But, they're selling off for somewhere around, what, 41.75 or something. So that candle's quickly developing. And here's a closer look at it. Nobody knows, of course, how far down it's going to get. But if it does, you know, if it crashes down all the way down to, you know, 39.50 or something, this is the graph you want to watch, this 1 hour chart. And you're gonna see how far down it goes, when it stops, when it comes down a little bit and finds its own floor, and when it starts moving up. And rate, you don't have to be the first one in on the first blue candle, but you've already determined that you're buying below 4,000. This is a 2-week chart, but we're gonna cut it down to like 10 days, and just look from here over, and just for now, just disregard this first part, and let's look at where it came in, and we can determine the floor, which would be at 260. And then we can see the peaks here, which are obviously at 320. So we can determine that that is the ceiling, 320. So the floor is 260 and the ceiling is 320. And what's halfway in between? And we come up with 290. So this we will call the green line, even though, here, let's make it green. So when we're getting below 290, that's the time to buy. Let's go to determine Litecoin's buy line. It's 2 weeks. Floor's obviously 42. And the ceiling's obviously 48. So the buy line, the number between those two, $45. Lots of buying opportunities for Litecoin. If you got in here, you're happy. If you got in here, you're happy. If you got in here, you're happy. All great buying opportunities for Litecoin. Right here, it's a little too close to that $45 line to be. I mean, you can mess with it, but in the middle of your buy, this is, and you're expecting this, you know, to go lower. If you're sitting there waiting and it does this, it surprises the hell out of you. You know, you've missed your mark. You're going to have to wait for another time or come back in a little while and check it again. What's it? The Litecoin shot up to, looks like $48. Let's go check this out. Now, close to it. It came up to 47.10. A strong move there, a little bit of, yeah. It's moving up this morning. It was 44 or something. Go Litecoin. So now, right this second is not the time to buy this. We're waiting for it to get below 45. Alright, it's 12 hours later, and Ethereum broke the ceiling by a lot. So when this happens, you have to reevaluate the chart and get a new buy line. You see Ethereum sitting at a 330, big huge jump. It started moving early this morning, I think. Out late last night. Right after midnight, it just shot up to 325. It was sitting at right about $300. So it shot up to 325, and a little bit of volatility there, and now it's moving straight back up. So we're going to go to a 2-week chart and reevaluate this whole issue here. This is not updated. This should be higher. There's a 330 line. You can see the graph has not gotten up there yet. I'm not sure exactly how often the 2-week chart updates, but I'll let you take a look at the numbers moving for a minute. I want to go get some more coffee. Alright, let's cut this down to 10 days and take these first 4 days off it. The line goes straight down. And just disregard this for now. 270 is the floor because of this semi-crash right here. And the new ceiling, and this might shoot up to 340 as soon as we get done this. So at that point you'd have to redo the chart and find the buy line all over again. But right now we're going to put the ceiling at 340 because it did go above 330. And the center line here, the new buy line, oh, it's a little higher than that. Looks like 305 is the new green line here. Man, that's basically that. So you can see in hindsight, these were all superb buys. And there's a lot of people getting in right this minute. A lot of volume, you can see it down here. A lot of volume at this sell-off back here too. This looks pretty normal right in here. But I guess this fun. Yeah, about 1 o'clock in the morning and the volume just shot up and they've been buying all night long. So that tells me it's Asia because they get out of bed when we go to sleep. And that's basically that. The new buy line is 305, so if you're looking for an opportunity to buy Ethereum, which is very volatile right now, so be careful. The new buy line is 305, $305. And because it went up so fast, it's liable to, come down a little bit or a lot. From this time yesterday, it's up 11.6% and rising quickly. Is that right? Yes. So we have a lot of movement in Ethereum right now, and Bitcoin is not moving. So again, it just proves that Ethereum is its own animal. It just doesn't always follow the path of Bitcoin. And we're just doing a quick check here, but I just wanted to show you how to adjust the buy line, and if the ceiling keeps getting broken, you're going to have to keep readjusting it and finding out the best times to buy. Or if the floor gets broken through, then you got to readjust it too. That's how that works. Have a great day, folks. Chances are, if this is your first buy, then you're a little bit nervous, and you want to get the odds a little bit higher than most people. And that's the agenda here, is to minimize your risk. Some people will probably say this, and it's like, I don't have the patience for all that, and I'm just going to buy in now and hope. And if you're new, you're not going to want to use that strategy, and that's the whole agenda to this is to. It's not foolproof. I mean, everything I'm saying could just backfire and be the exact opposite, but chances are, if you follow this strategy, you're going to be happy that you did. And so that's what we're doing. We're taking the odds of just going in blind and say, in 5 days you'll be fine, if you just go in blind, and you'll have a 70% chance of making a little bit of money in that 5 days. Overall, the agenda is not to look at 5 days, it's to look at the whole picture. Unless you want to be a trader, and this is not what this is about. This is about buying and holding and getting Bitcoin at the best possible price you can. But once you invest, you are going to look. You're probably not going to be able to take your eyes off the charts for days. So again, instead of having 70% odds of winning after a 5-day period, your odds are now increased to 80% or 90% if you follow this strategy. And so again, that's the agenda, is to increase your odds, minimize your risk, and maximize your gains, just so you can start getting comfortable with it. And that's why I tell people, and again, with the example of $1,000, just because the math is you might have 100,000, or you might only have 100. No matter what you have, break it up into 3 pieces, and on your first buy, you're going to be nervous, and if you follow this strategy, you're going to buy at 330, whatever number is comfortable with you. But I would not go in with that whole lump of sum in one buy. Get used to breaking it down into at least 3 pieces and buying at 3 different times while using this these patterns that I'm going to show you, or that I did show you. I don't know if I'm going to put this at the end of the video or in the beginning. I don't know. put it in the middle. Alright, I'm gonna have to get out of here. There are some things I would like to add to this. So I'm gonna have to do it later because there's some stuff. I have people waiting on me. There's some stuff I have to take care of. So yeah, hopefully this will all come together and make sense. Peace, brothers and sisters. I gotta run.